If you don't read, then you'll feel restless. Let me go from Japan to India, from India to Japan. You are restless because you don't read. I am laboring so hard for you, but you don't take advantage. Don't take advantage of eating and sleeping. Take advantage of these books. Then your life will be successful. My duty, I am giving so valuable things, day and night, trying to convince you, each word to word. And if you don't take advantage of this, then what can I do for you?
Could you hear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Prabhupada is very, very deeply concerned. He was so concerned that he was writing books in the dead of the night, practically sleeping only 2 hours or sometimes less. Even in the sleep, he would get some more realizations or some things to share in the purports. So these purports are Srila Prabhupada's ecstasies purpose. So it's very important that we understand the concern of Srila Prabhupada coming out in form of these books. And if we read them, then we can become stable. Otherwise, we fall down. Someone can read this, answer to all questions. Read this.
Study Bhagavad Gita as it is and Srimad Bhagavatam and continue to help your God brothers in developing Krishna consciousness. Develop your preaching in this way, and this will be the most successful and appreciated endeavor. When you study very carefully all of the literatures which are available, especially Bhagavad Gita as it is, you will have in your grasp answers to all questions that may be put to you. Please encourage the others to read this Bhagavad Gita at least one chapter every day. Letter to Pendra, January 6, 1969.
Yeah. So we will get answers to all questions. It's very important that we are able to personally resolve our doubts of our lives and also be able to give proper answers to anyone else's questions. So if we don't do this, then we will be confused. I have seen many devotees also corroborate the same point that when we don't read regularly, then sometimes even if we are in general we are knowing the philosophy, but gradually it becomes like we feel like confused about why am I doing what I'm doing. How many of you experience if you don't study Srila Prabhupada books regularly, you feel little after some time it's a hazy thing why exactly spiritual life is important, and sometimes the practice become mechanical, right? And also the answers to questions, sometimes we start getting some doubts, you know. It's important that we solve the questions through reading Srila Prabhupada books. Okay, we go ahead. Press another, free from all doubt, another one.
I want you leaders especially to become absorbed in the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and become yourself completely convinced and free from all doubt. On this platform, you shall be able to carry on the work satisfactorily. But if there is lack of knowledge or if there is forgetfulness, everything will be spoiled in time. So, especially, you must encourage the students to read our books throughout the day as much as possible and give them all good advice how to understand the books and inspire them to study the things from every point of view. Better to boil the milk very vigorously and make it thick and sweet. That is the best progress. So let us concentrate on training our devotees very thoroughly in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness from our books, from tapes, by discussing always and in so many ways instruct them in the right proportions.
Yeah,
Proposition.
very vital letter. Prabhupada is telling many important things in this. First, he's saying that if we study Prabhupada books, we study the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, then we can carry on the work satisfactorily. So we are going to preach uh, our own convictions and then also how we present Krishna consciousness. Both they very much depend on reading of Srila Prabhupada books. Prabhupada is saying, but if there is a lack of knowledge or there is forgetfulness, so one may have knowledge, but he's more or less now very wishy-washy or hazy about it. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, there is a verse in the description of the autumn season and the rainy season, that just like in the rainy season, when there is, like in the villages, no, there are some lanes which are made by the walking through those pathways, even amidst the farms. You have seen that? Like people take a shortcut, na? They don't want to go on the main road. They make a diagonal and they keep walking, and everyone is taking that shortcut. Then that grass gets removed, and that whole place becomes almost like a standard way. Everyone takes that only. No? Cycle wall also goes on that. People also, it's not actually the road, but people use that, so it becomes all the grass gets off. So, but when the rainy season comes, then those places again get filled up with grasses. So Srila Prabhupada, Krishna, Shukdev Goswami writes in that in the rainy season, those things get covered over. Similarly, a Brahmana who does not study books regularly, his knowledge gets covered over. No? So forgetfulness. It's very important to study Prabhupada books, and then better boil the milk, and how to study the things from every viewpoint. We'll talk about it a little later also. But all of you are now Pakka devotees. You're trying to practice sincerely, preach also. But Prabhupada always wanted his poor devotees also to become more and more thick. So boil the milk does not mean that we like the water goes away and the rabdi comes, right? And as you boil the milk more and more, it becomes rabdi. So you will become sweet like rabdi. And more we are sweet with devotion and convictions in life, then we can preach nice. Okay, so we go ahead. Read this.
Yes, as a sannyasi and a JBC, your first duty is to read my books. Otherwise, how will you preach? In order to remain steadily fixed in Krishna consciousness, there must be a sound philosophical understanding. Otherwise, it will become only sentiment. Whenever you find the time, please read my books.
Sentiment. So there, sometimes even our boys, they go to the college and they say, please come, please come. They don't know exactly how to convince and give punching answers. So then they give wishy-washy answers. And also when they have to like call the boy, then they will say that because we'll give you this facility, that facility, which are all material facility. They bring the boy on a material platform rather than the spiritual platform. So these things happen because we have not developed inner philosophical understanding. And he's talking here to sannyasis and GBCs, So the steadiness of our life very much depends on this study of Prabhupada books. Read this.
I am very much stressing at this point that all of my students shall be very much conversant with the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and that they should read our books very diligently. At least
Mute.
Yes, Prabhupada.
That they should read our books very diligently, at least 1 or 2 hours daily, and try to understand the subject matter from various varieties of angles, right? So Prabhupada, there he said, encourage the devotees to read throughout the day. At least, here he's saying at least 1 or 2 hours daily. So we have one Bhagavatam class daily, like what you are attending right now. And also devotees should do personal reading. Like that in the evening, Prabhupada would have Bhagavad Gita class also. Like that every day there should be study of Prabhupada books. It's a daily affair. Plus, here he's saying subject matter should be understood from varieties of angles. So this is very important. Like say someone understands, okay, we should be developing Vairagya. And then there is a point about Yukta Vairagya. Someone may say, okay, Yukta Vairagya means I can take everything of the world. No. Yukta Vairagya the verse starts from Rupa Goswami says, Anasaktasya Vishayan. So first Anasakti is also required. So Yukta and Vairagya both are important. And then we have to also see how Prabhupada applied it, how Prabhupada did not want to, did not want us to do it. Like Prabhupada got telephone, and that telephone that was ringing in the night, and one devotee called him, "So Swamiji, how are you?" He said, "Is this the time to ask me how are you? I'm sleeping." So get out, this phone should be thrown out. So our youth vairagya, if it is a idea of only vairagya, then we may not take any gadgets, or we may not take any facilities. That may be like a Babaji kind of thing. If it is a Yukt Vairagya where we think everything is okay, chalta hai, but then we may get contaminated by becoming passionate with things. But Prabhupada is saying that telex, no to telex. We have now WhatsApps, right? So Prabhupada is saying no to telephone also. So we have to appreciate the subject matter from different angles of vision in the Shastras, and then how Prabhupada and Acharyas have applied it in the mission. So in their personal lives. Then we can properly digest. Then we can present properly. Otherwise, we may be, vairagya ki jai ho, or yukta ki jai ho. We may be just pushing one thing. I'm just giving a sample example of one of the principles. Like that, everything should be very wholesome way understood and digested. Then we can present Krishna consciousness effectively. Okay, next one, please read. See Krishna face to face.
Nowadays, it seems that many of the older disciples, like yourself, are having difficulty. If you do not set the example for the younger students and take the responsibility for instructing them in the right line, how will things go on? Try to always study your books and see your philosophy from different lights of directions. Become convinced yourself of this knowledge, and without a doubt, all your difficulties of mind will disappear forever, and you will see Krishna face to face.
So there's a very important verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita which is extremely important for us too. You're seeing the folio?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Siddhanta baliya chitte nakara alas.
Siddhanta baliya chitte nakar alas.
Iya haite Krishna lage sudrida manas.
Iha haite Krishna lage sudrida manas.
So सिद्धांत बलिया चित्ते ना करा आलस. सिद्धांत सीखने में आलस मत करो बेटा. See, very nice instruction. ना करे आलस. इहा हाइते कृष्ण लागे सुदृढ़ मानस. Krishna becomes fixed in the mind. Sudrida manas. Read the translation.
A sincere student should not neglect the discussion of such conclusions, considering them controversial. For such discussions strengthen the mind. Thus, one's mind become attached to Shri Krishna.
So if we want to become fixed in Krishna in our mind does not waver by philosophies or people. See, today you are going to because now you are living in the age of Kali Yuga, where in that autumn season thing only there comes that when the night comes, then there are glowworms. So in the Kali Yuga it is dark. Similar, so there are many glowworms. Glowworm like gurus will speak bogus stuff, and it looks very exciting. And today the modern world says YouTube पे कुछ भी popular हो जाए तो वो maybe he's the right guy. If you speak nonsense in a very popular way, many nonsense people who are in bodily concept will say Jai, they will become the favorite, subscribed, ye, wo. But it has nothing to do with the authentic program the Acharyas are given. So if we want to develop proper convictions, we want to remain away from all this and remain fixed in Krishna. Nothing else than Krishna. Krishna Ittara should be knocked off. But that fixity is very important, which comes by reading Srila Prabhupada books. Coming to the next. Yeah.
There is no need by any of my disciples to read any books besides my books. In fact, such reading may be detrimental to their advancement in Krishna consciousness, except in certain authorized cases. For example, to read some philosophers like Plato to make an essay comparing his philosophy with Krishna's philosophy. But otherwise, all such outside reading should be stopped immediately. It is simply another botheration. If my students cannot even read my own books thoroughly, why should they read others? I have given you teachings of Lord Chaitanya. What need is there to read Chaitanya Charitamrita translated by someone else? You are right to stop such reading.
Ruji, you are on mute.
Sorry. So today the world is plagued, very, very strongly plagued with faithlessness. And because of faithlessness, people think, let me take little from everyone and I will make my own understanding of life. There are many, even ISKCON devotees, who keep reading stuffs which are outside ISKCON, or they hear nowadays YouTube from all over the world, where people are just some Baba, this Baba. They are just thinking that we will have their own version of Krishna consciousness. It's not going to work. Actually, Krishna consciousness is tadvidhi pranipatena parikrishna sevaya. Uddekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. We have to go to the right personalities and not get, just like a wife has chastity, he does not, even if there are other men who may be very beautiful or powerful, she just does not start glorifying them. She has chastity to her own husband. Similarly, when we take to the parampara system, it is very important for us. We can have respect for people who are other than the parampara, but the respect does not make us unchaste to our own parampara. We love to take the message from our own masters. And Srila Prabhupada is the preeminent Shiksha Guru, so we should read his books very thoroughly, regularly. That should be our prime food, sabji, rice, dal, chapati. And some frames can be books written by the other devotees in ISKCON. And reading other books which are other than that, or seeing YouTube from the whole world of Babajis and all, is just it's an unchaste way of working actually. It does not give fidelity in the parampara, nor does it actually help them to grow in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada is saying rather it may be detrimental to their advancement. Okay, read.
Yes, reading my books will help you. Philosophy must be there. But if you do not also apply the philosophy by participating in all temple affairs, like rising early, attending Mangalarti, performing devotional service, and simply learning the philosophy will have no effect.
Very important. One place Prabhupada writes that in one letter he says, there is a philosophy there, but higher than the philosophy, the higher thing which is higher than the philosophy is the practice of the philosophy or application of the philosophy. So one devotee was telling me that Prabhupada would walk with this hand, head raised. So devotees asked, Prabhupada, you walk with your head raised. Why, Prabhupada? Prabhupada said, because we have the highest philosophy. And then Prabhupada said, but we have something higher than the highest philosophy. And that is the application of the highest philosophy. And another lecture Prabhupada says, philosophy without character has little or no meaning. Here also Prabhupada says, simply learning the philosophy will have no effect. So sometimes devotees with very strong intellect, many times we are preaching to people with very strong intellect, they don't come from, they become intellectually giants, but they don't want to serve menially. They think that is the time pass stuff. Nor some of the people, they spend time reading Prabhupada books during morning program. We can read Prabhupada books during the class time when we are reading the book like today. But we should attend all the devotional chores which are culturally imbuing our consciousness with devotion. Like we should also do Mangalarti, we should also do deity worship, we should rise up and chant and dance with devotees. Then we'll become a wholesome devotee. Prabhupada did not want Bhakti Shastri for making scholars for ISKCON. This I'm quoting from Srila Radhanath Maharaj. He said, Srila Prabhupada instituted Bhakti Shastri not to make scholars for ISKCON, but to make leaders for ISKCON. And leaders means those who will live by the character which is in the Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. And then they will personify the teachings. That way the character becomes extremely important for us to work upon. There are devotees who may speak big philosophy, but they can't control the senses. That's not going to work. Then their philosophical lectures also will not have any deep effect on the people. Some people will say, wah, 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 because they are basically looking for intellectual stuff on it. But we have to see, we want to become wholesome devotees. Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed that South Indian Brahmana is more important for me than all the other Brahmanas who were having understanding of the scriptures, but not digested the scriptures by the mercy of the Guru. Then also you see Romarshan Sutta was practically killed by Balramji, although he was speaking Bhagavatam. While so he had all the knowledge, he had studied all the Itihasas and Puranas and all, but he did not have the digestion of knowledge in terms of character to bow down before the Vaishnavas, before Balramji Adi Guru. That is no use. So our philosophical intake should not make us so proud that we offend Vaishnavas. Sometimes some senior may make an intellectual mistake in speaking something from the Shastra. We should not think that we are smarter than them in quoting the Shastra. Our quoting the Shastra is theoretical. He is living the Shastra and then he may be not quoting so much. You know? So sometimes those who have very intellectual, big, head with a lot of shlokas and all, they quote left and right, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, this, that. If they don't have the digestion, then they will rather burn their devotional service by not properly doing etiquettes in the devotee sangha. While if we see the same there are verses for Sutta Goswami, where it is mentioned that he also had all the knowledge of the scriptures, Puranas, Itihasas. But after that comes Shishyatvam, Saumyatvam, Shishya, Snigdasya Shishyasya. He was Snigdha Shishya of the Vaishnavas, and that is why he has received the blessings of all the Vaishnavas. And thus, today you can please speak the Bhagavatam. So he was made the real speaker of Bhagavatam, both at the scholarly side, but Romarshan Sutta lacked the character, while Sutta Goswami had the character. So this is so important that Balramji, to set the principle right, he killed him. So we should be very careful in this. Yes, please read.
In my books, the philosophy of Krishna consciousness is explained fully. So if there is anything you do not understand, then you simply have to read again and again. By reading daily, the knowledge will be revealed to you, and by this process, your spiritual life will develop. You may please me the most by reading my books and following the instructions therein.
Yeah. So two things Prabhupada is saying: reading again and again and following the instructions which are there in those books. So sometimes we may not understand something in the book, but this is the Vedic method, that when we read regularly, when we keep reading the same things, how many of you experienced when you read the same thing again, something more came out? You felt that I never read this one. Now this, but actually you have gone through the book. You have underlined also. But now when you're reading, after you're thinking, when did I underline this? This is like amazing. This line is so amazing. So Prabhupada reveals more and more. Krishna reveals more and more, because bhakti learning is state conscious. Our consciousness, if it is more evolved because of practice of bhakti, then we read the same line, we get more. So read again and again, the understanding will develop, and also apply it in your life. Yeah, last one. Yeah. Read.
A devotee in Mayapur once got to live in the middle of one of the Prabhupada's lectures. Where is he going? Prabhupada asked. He has some work to do. A devotee answered. This drew fire from Prabhupada. What work? Nonsense. Unless you hear, what work can you do? It will just be karma unless you hear. We cannot just read the books and do nothing for the spiritual master, but neither can we serve without the knowledge gained by reading the books. As Prabhupada states in the letter quoted above, we must both read the books and follow the instructions. This is the combination that pleases the spiritual master the most. By Satswarup Das Goswami.
So the previous quote which was put, we have to read also and follow also. And Prabhupada is also, Satswarup Maharaj here is telling, quoting Prabhupada, that what work? Nonsense. It will be simply karma. So we are supposed to be brahmacharis. Even a grihastha is a brahmachari. He is a grihastha brahmachari. And a brahmachari is a brahmachari brahmachari. But what is a brahmachari? Brahman charititi brahmachari. One who meditates on the Shabda Brahma, he is a brahmachari. But Brahman charati, he should be grazing over the scriptures. Just like a cow keeps. Have you seen a cow in the when she's in the grasslands? Her head is always into the grass only. Similarly, we should be grazing over the scriptures, always meditating over, contemplating over, reading the scriptures, hearing from acharyas and Prabhupada. And by that, what happens? Our mind becomes Krishna conscious. So we should be always conducting ourselves like a brahmachari, not a karmachari. So we don't want to become a karmachari, we have to become brahmachari. Otherwise, it will look like a mundane work only. Afterwards, our services become apparently, it may be in the Krishna conscious domain, but our mind will not be Krishna conscious. So it is very important that we study Prabhupada books regularly. Okay. I think you may have already heard in January of 1970, this is exams. So we should write exams. Prabhu, I'm sure you can take the exam part. I will take the aims.
Yes.
Okay. So aims and so see, this is a very important point about aims of Bhakti Shastri. There are three primary things that we get if we put it in category knowledge, skills, and values. So knowledge means to know, and skills means to do, and values is to be. So knowledge to know means when we read scriptures, we come to understand things, we come to know things. So theoretical knowledge means like you come to read Srila Prabhupada's books, say you're reading Bhagavad Gita, you come to know what is Karma Yoga, what is Jnana Yoga, you come to know it. Then understanding means you can even say, quote examples. Okay, Karma Yoga is an example. Okay, but what is the difference between Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga? You are able to contrast, compare, you are able to see from different angles of view. So you've got an understanding. You can also, see that how what Prabhupada said here is the same thing he said there. So this is all understanding. And realization is when you are able to see the world through that actually. It's not like just some intellectual stuff now. You are able to see. It's Shastra Chakshu. You can see it. You have worn the Chakshu of the Shastras. You can see the world through it. And in accordance with the knowledge, we will also do things. For example, if you have understood something about chanting, once you every time we get a japa workshop from some great soul, then after that, some days we are chanting like Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So we do things according to what we know. And then eventually it becomes our values. So values is what we actually exist in. Values is our inner existence. So to know is easier, but to be is the toughest. Many people just get stuck on to know. And because they know, they think we are quoting to others, so we are rightly situated. But actually, more important than to know is to also do. We should know and then we should do. And the goal of doing, like some people may be doing book distribution, preaching, finally we should develop compassion, which is a value. Then we exist in that preaching spirit. So more our values are developed, our skills and knowledge will also enhance. That means our preaching will become more effective, our practices will become more effective because our value has changed. If you have faith in the holy name, then the skill of how to chant will be empowered by the inner content. So this is a very important thing. What are the aims? So there is just another slide which I'll show in brief for the purpose of appreciating these aims. Actually, there are 12 aims of Bhakti Shastri. I'll put it in a very brief manner in the interest of time. This is a big topic. Radhishambhu is given elaborately. Maybe you can hear on your own. I will highly recommend it. This is how to go from theoretical knowledge to the realized knowledge. Radhishambhu is given very nicely. So these are the 12 aims. Knowledge, that means you are able to recall whatever is given. You're able to remember what is given in different books. Understand it from different angles of view. Then you can apply it in your life and you can apply it in preaching world. Faith and conviction means you have developed now conviction. Yes. Like you will not say, Prabhupada said, I'm not the body, but the soul. You also know that you're not the body, but you have faith. Your faith speaks. You have faith that the shelter of Vaishnavas is so important to our lives. When our faith grows, then we live on that existence. So faith in conviction. Authority, it means we develop a authority. We don't quote our own mental ideas. Many times when initially devotees have not read Prabhupada books, then they quote their own analogies. They make their own analogies somehow to convince the boy. But when we develop the Shastric authority, we become an authority because we are quoting Shastra. And then theological application means to see the religious worldview. That means see and act in that. Like say now, there are so many things going on between Hindus and Muslims and Christians. So what is the right understanding according to Sanatana Dharma, according to Bhakti scriptures, right? That is theological application. Evaluation means to see every situation in the light of scriptures and to act accordingly, to make right judgment of the situation. Say you are, suppose you are in a fix, you are in the dead of the night, and you are driving your car, and one young girl, 16-year-old girl, is crying, please give me shelter in your car. So what should I do? In that moment, imagine you give the shelter in the car and then you lose your own chastity in your mind. So have you given shelter to her or you have abused her? So the contrast of all the scriptural instructions with the application of all the scriptural instructions comes when we are in the situation of practice, and that time how we apply the scriptures. So that is evaluation of situations. Then mood and mission means, like Prabhupada, suppose now someone, like he quoted Prabhupada, this one devotee had made in Mayapur, there were quotes put up everywhere. Come to Mayapur and stay here, so and spend your life. So devotees were confused. Prabhupada always was saying that actually we should be preaching mission, and only when you become very old you should come to Mayapur. And as far as I am concerned, I'm still 18. So devotees were thinking, did Prabhupada really say that we should retire in Mayapur somewhere in a letter? So the letter was written to His Holiness Bhavanand Swami Maharaj that time, now Bhavanand Prabhu. So Bhavanand Prabhu was consulted, and Bhavanand Prabhu told, actually we were in Calcutta and we were doing management and we were fed up with management. So we said, Prabhupada, can we come to Mayapur and give up Calcutta management? So Prabhupada in disgust wrote this letter. Okay, you give up everything and you come here. So you come here and stay in Mayapur. So what this devotee has done? He has quoted it, the disgusted, anger-based writing of Prabhupada, that you come here and stay in Mayapur, because he wants to sell flats in Mayapur. He wants to sell flats, so he has quoted wrongly. So he's not going according to the mood and mission of Prabhupada. He's going against the mood. So sometimes we may quote Prabhupada against his own mood only. So we have to properly understand what is our Acharya's mood. Like one time I told Radhesham, Guruji, I want to preach to oldies, old fellows. Oldies मतलब जो मरने वाले हैं उनको, क्योंकि वो बहुत कुछ दान में देके चले जाएंगे. He said, Prabhupada went to young fellows, you want to preach to old fellows? So then I thought, yeah, Prabhupada went to young fellows. So we have to come to track with what is the mood and mission of the Acharya. Similarly, academic and moral integrity. So this is very important. That means like what I just quoted to you about the mood and mission, there that person lacked moral integrity and academic integrity. Academic integrity means not living by the, not quoting the scripture, but making your own idea. And moral integrity, where you misapply, like, Kamsa was telling Devaki and Vasudev, that what to do, everything happens by the higher arrangement. Now your sons are killed. You rascal, you killed them, you did the wrong thing, and now you are quoting scripture for just getting vindicated from the blame. So that is not called moral integrity. Wrong way to apply the scripture to save yourself from a imminent trouble. So like that, sometimes people, like, Prabhupada, one devotee said, Prabhupada, can we take roses from the adjoining garden of another neighbor? Because everything belongs to Krishna. He said, everything belongs to Krishna, but it is under the care of that caretaker, is that local owner. We have to take permission from him. So that is what moral integrity, that we apply rightly, not wrongly. Also responsibility for learning. When we read scriptures regularly, study them. Prabhupada said study. One time Yashomati Nandan Prabhu was asked by Prabhupada, so are you studying my books regularly? So he said, yes, Prabhupada, every day I am reading your books. He said, I am not asking whether you're reading my books. Are you studying my books? In the Sanskrit, the word is adhyan. There is a difference between adhyan and just, reading. Adhyan means to be very studiously reading, scrutinizing reading. So as we do that, actually we develop a joy to learn more and more from scripture, and we are always eager to take more and more. Not that now I know the basic philosophy, why do I have to make notes in the classes? So sometimes devotees, as they go on in their life, they move further and further away from the Vyasasana in their hearing process, and they think that simply I have to sit in the Bhagavatam because we have to what to do. This is part of the program. The one who has developed the responsibility for learning, I have to always learn. If Shiksha stops, your advancement has stopped. So if you're not taking in Shiksha, then things are not going to move in our inner heart. So responsibility for learning should get inculcated as a value as you move ahead. And yeah, Shastra Chakshu, so it gives the right vision to the world, vision to ourselves to see the world, and also to see ourselves. So seeing everything through Shastras. So these are 12 aims. They are further classified into knowledge, skills, and values like this. If you see here, knowledge, understanding, realization, personal application, preaching application, theoretical application, and these are all values. So we have to work on all this. It's a huge subject. You can hear the lecture separately. But suffice to say that these so many wonderful gifts we can receive if we study scriptures of Prabhupada and under the guidance of wonderful Vaishnavas who have realized these scriptures, who are practicing them. So when we hear from them, like you will do in the Bhakti Shastri, and you also study on your own. You have to study yourself also, and then you have to hear from others. And Radhashampu wants every Bhakti Shastri person, after Bhakti Shastri, he should give also. He should not just sit with his own book and finish. No, your reading should lead to preaching also. Then it will be Akhyatani cha Adhitani. After Adhyan, it should lead to speaking to others. As you speak to others, you will develop more realizations of this. So thank you very much. I have completed my part of the talk. After this, okay, just 1 minute, two line actually. This one is important. Any learning has to be based on 3 things: Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. So what does it mean? Shravan means to hear from the teacher. After that, Mananam should go on. On your own, you should be reflecting on the subject matter. And Nididhyasanam is actually realization and seeing things in that way and acting on that. So 4 things should be done for learning. Aditi means to study. Bodha means to gain the insight and proficiency on that. Acharan means to realize the purpose and live accordingly. And Prachar means to give the knowledge to others. So all these 4, Aditi, Bodh, Acharan, and Prachar, are part of learning process. Okay. So I think, so. Prabhu, I'm done.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Antari Prabhu, for this wonderful insight and inspiring all of us to take up this Bhakti Shastri very seriously. So we hope to get your association in one of the modules, one or more of the modules ahead. Thank you so much.
I know many of you personally, and all of you are very bright faced, wonderful Vaishnavas in your respective voices, and you are doing a lot of service for the Prabhupada mission. I am very grateful that you're also taking out time to do this important study of Prabhupada books. Radhashampu will be very, very happy to see all these devotees who are dedicating so much of their time to preach, to practice, to manage, take so much responsibility on Prabhupada mission's side. They are also taking out time for this. So Radhashampu has so much concern for all of us. Out of that concern, only this working devotees Bhakti Shastri has started. And you are reciprocating with that. Please continue to reciprocate very nicely, and you will become very blossom, wholesome, all-round Vaishnavas for the pleasure of Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So after this wonderful inspiring talk, we'll have certain discussions on certain announcements and discussions. So as you know, this Bhakti Shastri has been going on by the inspiration of Srila Prabhupada. From his, even within his presence, he wrote letters. We discussed that, and it has been going since that on in ISKCON since that time. So recent few years back, 2 years back, Radheshyam Prabhu, he expressed desire that our voice devotees also should do. Usually the trend was that devotees, once they join Brahmacharya ashram or go towards Grihastha ashram, then they would do Bhakti Shastri. But Prabhuji was concerned that no, before this they should be thorough with Bhakti Shastras. It is too much delayed. So that's how we have started from our voice side also. in collaboration with BVRV, Bhaktivedanta Raj Vidyalaya, to conduct this Bhakti Shastri for voice pass out students. So few things we would like to discuss now. Just 1 minute. I'll just share. Yeah. So you are able to see now? Yeah. So as you know, that in the Bhakti Shastri, it is whole course is divided into 6 units. So we have 4 books for Bhakti Shastri: Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Devotion, Ishopanishad, and Nectar of Instruction. So these are the 4 books divided into 6 units. So first unit is Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 to 6. Second unit is Bhagavad Gita chapter 7 to 12. Third unit is Bhagavad Gita chapters 13 to 18. Fourth unit is Nectar of Devotion. Fifth unit is Ishopanishad. Sixth unit is Nectar of Instruction. So this course will go to 2 years or 2.5 years, something like that. And so our classes will be on the weekdays, because we discussed in our voice preachers meet, and all of the brahmachari preachers, they were saying that our working devotees are very busy with a lot of services on weekend, especially a lot of preaching programs, and morning classes also are, specific classes. So we are going to keep our Bhakti Shastri classes on weekdays, mostly Monday, Thursday, Friday, either of these 2 days. So either of the two of the days, based on the little convenience of the teacher also, but it will be on weekdays. So Monday to Friday, it will be weekdays, 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 to 8:15 will be the timing. Our timing will be 7 to 8:15, twice a week, 2 days a week. So it becomes 2.5 hours of learning per week. Yeah, so you all have, this is the flow. You all have done registration, and we are doing orientation now. Your batch is already registered, and then these 6 units will be starting. Yeah. So at the end of every unit and before beginning of the next unit, there will be these things: CBA, OBA, Shloka test. We'll go to it, and evaluation, and there will be result declared. So then there will be certifications after that. So you need these 4 books: Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Devotion, Ishopanishad, and Nectar of Instruction. Also, you'll be provided with Bhakti Shastri student handbook. So we'll put it in your WhatsApp. Soft copy is there. You can just refer to it. That is very, very important. There are all questions and all are mentioned over there. Now, every unit, you all understood there are 3 units, right? Sorry, 6 units. Every of the unit, there will be closed book assessment. Closed book assessment means जो ऐसा आपका कॉलेज में होता था, exam. Without seeing the book, you have to write the exams. Then open book assessment, which will be like writing an essay, and then shloka memorization test. This will be for each and every unit. So 6 unit into these 3 exams. So it is 18 exams. So this closed book assessment will be usually of 50 marks with 1.5 hour duration. And in the student handbook, which you will be receiving, there are certain questions given. So those questions you need to solve by yourself, not by copying from others. Solve yourself, and 80% of the questions will come from that only. So that is called as Purva Swadhyaya section. Purva Swadhyaya section and analogies, that will comprise of your 80% of your closed book exams, and 20% will come from whatever is taught in the classes, So like this, only on Srila Prabhupada purports. So answers will be short answer questions, some definitions and analogies. So this will be closed book assessment. Next is open book assessment. Open book assessment questions are also mentioned in the student handbook, and not all the questions you have to solve. You will be told which questions have to be written. You have to write an essay of approximately 800 to 900 words for every question. So these are some of the things which I will circulate to all of you. You have to write in the form of paragraphs and all. So I'll circulate these things to you when you are writing, going to write some guidelines how to write open book assignments. Then third is the shloka memorization test. So there will be oral test conducted with a teacher. Mostly that teacher will be your own preacher of the voice or your own counselor. He will conduct shloka memorization test for you, and there will be 45 shlokas to be memorized, like that. So every unit is followed by shloka memorization test also. These are the shloka numbers: 12 shlokas, 14 shlokas, 9 shlokas, 4 shlokas, 2 shlokas, and 4 shlokas, like that. Now, course assessment, how the assessment will be done. Every unit we have to pass. Every unit we have to independently pass. No, not that there is a overall passing. There is a every unit to unit passing, and all 6 units one has to pass, then only one will get Bhakti Shastri certificate. In case when somebody fails, then he has to resubmit the open book. He will have to reappear for exams, or he has to reappear for the shloka memorization. So this is the weightage: 65% for open book, closed book 20%, shloka memorization 10%, attendance 5%. This is total passing. Plus individual passing is also open book assessment. 60% are passing marks. Closed book assessment 65% passing marks. Shloka memorization 65%. So there should be minimum attendance of 75%. Like that. So overall course grade will be calculated as average of all units. Student will receive examination board, ISKCON examinations board Bhakti certificate on successful completions. Yeah, so this is the criteria. So chanting 16 round, follow 4 degree principles, be in counselor system for 1 year, and there is registration. So there is a batch coordinator from the students. So for our batch, Tejas Shete Prabhu, you all can see him here. Tejas Prabhu is there. Yeah, Tejas Prabhu is visible for all of you. So Tejas Prabhu is our batch coordinator for your batch. So Tejas Prabhu, can you put your email ID and number on the chat? So please note down, you have to contact for many things to him. So he'll be taking your attendance and also monitoring your various things. So Tejas Prabhu will put his phone number as well as email ID. So he'll be maintaining all of your attendance. As you know, 75% attendance is compulsory minimum for each and every unit independently. Any unit somebody does not have 75% attendance, he will have to reappear for that unit in the next batch. He won't be able to get Bhakti Shastri certificate, neither he'll be allowed to appear for exams. So please note this. Again, I repeat, for every unit, 75% attendance is compulsory. And if we are not able to complete this 75% attendance, then one will have to reappear for that unit. Means one has to attend all the classes again for that unit in the next batch. And next batch means whenever the next batch starts, not in this current batch. And at the same time, one will have to also, one will not be allowed to write an exam. So basically that unit one is gone. So attendance will be marked by Tejas Prabhu. Every class attendance will be marked based on whether your video is on throughout or not. If somebody's video is off, he'll be marked absent. And so with P, you have to have 75% attendance. Please note this. With P, you have to have 75% attendance, and with video on. If the video is off, you will be marked absent. In case somebody has got some specific problem, like the range is not proper, that's why one is not able to turn on the video. Even if one is traveling, even if one has some other thing very crucial thing one is doing, still video can be on. But in case there is some kind of pressing concern by which one is not able to turn on his video, he has to inform Tejas Prabhu, and then Tejas Prabhu will mark for a genuine reason. But this should be occasional case. Otherwise, video should be on. Video should be throughout on, not for 5 minutes on and then off. If it is off, it will be marked absent. So like that, 75% attendance is compulsory. Please note that we are taking on a very serious education. It's not just some kind of a optional class or some kind of a social attendance. So it's a serious education. Ideally, these classes are conducted physically, but all of you are situated in different parts of Pune or different parts of India, so we can't hold them physically. So that's why we are keeping this online facility, but for that the video has to be on. Okay, so Tejas Prabhu, please make sure that you mark attendance for each and every participant, and based on the criteria I told you just now, and we have to keep the record of all the attendance, each and every class attendance. Yeah. Then there will be one primary teacher, so I'll be your primary teacher, and I am putting my phone number as well. This is my phone number and this is my email ID. Please note it down. So I'll be your primary teacher and I'll be inviting different speakers for giving Bhakti Shastri, and I'll be responsible for the whole batch. So you may have to contact me sometimes. You may preferably message me, or if required, you may call me or email me on this contacts. Yeah. So there will be different teachers for different units. Mostly 3-4 teachers. Mostly there will be minimum 4 to 5 teachers. One teacher may repeat, but generally we are trying to keep all 6 unit different teachers. One thing about attendance is also that if 2-3 devotees are attending together, they are recommended to join separately. Suppose from a voice 3-4 devotees are attending together, they are recommended to join separately. If not, at least they should mention to Tejas Prabhu that these 3 devotees we are hearing together, and then only Tejas Prabhu will mark. Otherwise, whose name is there, he will mark, and other 2 devotees who are attending, their absent will be marked. So please be mindful of this. If 2-3 devotees are attending together, either you join separately or inform to Tejas Prabhu that you are attending like this together. Okay, so we are all attended these teacher training meetings and all this. Yeah, and you all have paid fees and all that. Closed book assignments will be evaluated by BBRV central team. Open books will be evaluated by us together. Yeah, and we had orientation program and all these things, we are done. Yeah, this also I told you. For exams, you have to come physically to BVRV. If not, there will be some provision for online if you are not in Pune. So online closed book test, there are 2 options, which that time will tell you. The 2 options, in case somebody is not unable to come physically, we prefer you to come physically and give closed book exams. And as far as open book, that you have to, you can write in your computers or mobile and submit to us. Yeah. So these are different things. So these are the attendance policies I mentioned to you. See here again, it is mentioned online attendees need to keep their videos on for entire duration of class. If they are having technical difficulties, they need to inform batch coordinator. If unable to attend classes beyond 75% limit, he needs to submit a letter at least 24 hours prior to the commencement of the class, or in case of emergency, at the earliest possible. Yeah. Also, devotees students coming should be coming ideally 15 minutes. But if not, at least come on time. So our class will start at 7 o'clock. Somebody comes at 7:15 or something, 7:10, 7:15, this is not proper. You have to come right from the beginning. And also devotees need to participate in the class. It will not be only one side classes giving. There will be participation based. So devotees should answer questions, and devotees can ask questions also at the end of the class or in between as per the convenience of teacher. So in this way, devotees please come on time. Otherwise it will be marked late, and if one comes too much late, then he'll be marked absent as well. So if there is some issue, then one can submit a letter. Yeah, one will not be allowed to appear for CBR nor submit OBA for the particular unit if the attendance is below 75%. And you will be informed. So don't feel bad if you are informed like that. But this is that's why right now we are announcing all these things. Yeah, this I told you already. So you can prepare the answers for closed book questions from your question bank on your own, not sharing the answers with each other. So now the exam will be conducted at the end of every unit before the next unit begins. Suppose first unit is done, before second unit exam will be conducted. Those devotees who will not be able to pass the exams, not be able to appear for the exams, there will be some kind of adjustment may be done in future, but we cannot again keep on conducting central exams. So once exams may be pending for an entire year or something, it may happen. So please ensure that your exam is given on the specified date. In case many devotees have difficulty on a particular date, then you can inform Tejas Prabhu. We'll adjust the date, but please ensure that you complete your OBA, CBE and Shloka test before the next unit starts. Otherwise it will be so much big load. At the end of course you will have to keep writing exams, keep giving tests and keep giving Shloka test and all that, like that. So we'll be supplying you the papers and all that. Yeah, and of course it is not the copying should not happen. All these things are there. Yeah, and similar thing about open book also. So these are guidelines I'll be sending to all of you, and Shloka also. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Do you have any questions to ask? So our teaching, because now Kartik Yatra is starting, our teaching will effectively begin almost after 15 to 20 days from today. So probably in the mid of the November or the end of the November will begin weekly. So Tejas Prabhu, maybe you can take a poll from devotees amongst this Monday, Thursday and Friday, which days are comfortable for devotees. In case they are okay with any days, we can do, we can design like that.
Yes.
So at least as of now, 3 days we are keeping option. I need 2 days of these 3.
Okay.
Monday, Thursday or Friday, any 2 days out of these 3 per week, 7 to 8:15 a.m. Any questions, Prabhus? Anybody has any questions? Things are clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we wish you all very best for your Bhakti Shastri, and we hope and pray to Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra. We pray to Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra, Shri Gaunitai, Shri Balaji Bhagwan, that you all become very good learned devotees, as well as you imbibe these wonderful teachings of Bhakti Shastri in your own personal life. So wish you all the best for this wonderful course. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. भक्ति शास्त्री की जय।
Yeah.
हरे कृष्णा।
प्रभु जी, भक्ति वेदांत जो कोर्स है उसमें भागवतम के 7th to 12th कंटे रहते हैं क्या?
यस।
ओके, ठीक है भाई।
ओके, थैंक यू। हरे कृष्णा।